discuss about the local government unit in Australia and the local government unit in India. First is the local government in India. According to Article 40 of Indian Constitution, which enshrines one of the directive principles of state policy, lays down that states shall take steps to organize village panchayats and endow them with such powers as may be necessary to enable them to function as units of self-government. Local bodies are institutions of local self-governance which look after the administration of an area or small community such as villages, towns, or cities. According to Article 243G of the Indian Constitution, enshrines the basic principle for devolution of power to the local bodies. In the nation's journey towards becoming an economic power, local bodies plays an important part in enabling infrastructure's availability to the citizens. The local bodies in India are broadly classified into two categories. The local bodies constituted for local planning, development, and administration in the urban areas are referred as urban local bodies or municipalities, and the local bodies which are constituted for local planning, development, and administration in the rural areas are referred as rural local bodies or panchayats. First, in urban local bodies composed of three governing body, the municipal corporation or kilala sa India na Nagar Nigam or Mahanagar Palika, then the municipality is also known as Nagar Palika, and then the city council also known as Nagar Panchayat, and all these are based of population of a place. A municipal corporation is for bigger cities like metropolitan city. For instance, if a place has a population of more than 1 million, then it is termed as a municipal corporation. The largest municipal corporation are the 8 metropolitan cities of India such as Delhi, Surat, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Pune, Mumbai, Ahmedabad. While the municipality is constituted for a smaller urban area, it is for bigger town. Likewise, if the population is less than 1 million and more than 100,000, then it is termed as municipality. Then the city council is for a transitional area, that is to say, it is an area in transition from a rural area to urban area. It is neither a big town or a complete village. Or similarly, if the population is more than 30,000 and less than 100,000, then that is termed as city council. Urban local bodies have great advantages of diverse economic activities, economies of scale and of scope in provisioning of services, but have great disadvantage of shouldering many more responsibilities. All these three forms of local government are subdivided into administrative units called wards. By a direct election, one member should be elected from each ward. Together, all of these individual wards comprise the wards committee. In general, a municipal corporation, municipality, and city council consisting of wards committee, and these three forms of government and administrative divisions are quite similar in urban local political units. The reason why it's termed urban political units is because even though they elected representatives, Indian also hold municipal elections in which they elect someone who is termed as a cooperator, and basically the tenure of cooperative is 5 years. Furthermore, the local government needs a head of chairman. The head of local government is in the form of mayor. In other words, a mayor is a head of municipal government. But the actual executive power lies in the hands of a municipal commissioner. A municipal commissioner is a civil servant. Consider his or her roles of that like a chief minister or prime minister. Second is the rural local bodies or panchayats. It is where the Panchayati Raj system comes into picture. The main goal of Panchayati Raj system is to implement decentralization of power. It is a form of local self-government. In rural areas, it is to implement democracy at the grassroots living itong Panchayati Raj system na ito. It is popularly referred to as the Zila Parishad. Zila Parishad constitutes the apex in the Panchayati Raj system of rural local government in India. As the name itself signifies, the Zila Parishad is a rural local government body operating in the district or local level. The Zila Parishad is mainly an advisory, coordinating, fund and distributing, and supervisory body. It is equipped with executive functions like health, education, social welfare, and etc. Broadly speaking, a Zila Parishad consists of the following members such as chairman and elected members of Zila Parishad, presidents of Panchayat Samitis or Mandala Parishads in the districts, and others. And this Sila Parishad or districts is divided into blocks also known as Tanzils, Talukas, Mandalas, subdivisions. Pangkayat Samiti, which is at the block level, represents the intermediate level in Pangkayat hierarchy system. Pangkayat Samiti consists of an area equivalent to 2 or 3 blocks. The average area covered by block works out to be 566 square miles, though the usual range varies from 105 square mile to 2,837 square miles. The number of pangkayats per block also varies from state to state. Example, from 8 per block in Kerala to 80 in Uttar Pradesh. Then under one block daw, there are several villages on it. Itong villages na ito ay yung pinaka-lowest subdivision sa India. Additionally, the Pangkayat Samiti is the link between the district administration and the Gram Pangkayat or village Pangkayat. In India, in rural area, they exercise self-government. That's why every village must have Gram Pangkayat or yung tinatawag nga nila na village Pangkayat. It is made up of 5 members who have the management authority to decide for development. The function of Gram Pangkayat are usually classified into 2 broad categories. First is the obligatory function, which is about construction, repair, maintenance, cleaning, and lighting of public streets. And then the second one is the discretionary functions. Examples is the planning and maintaining streets on the sides of public streets and in other public places. Now, another one is about filling on insanitary depression and leveling of land. Yung mga example doon sa discretionary functions. Again, in a village, meron dapat silang governmental body to know their local interest and whether they have development ideas in their area. Present by meeting. Every village holds a meeting called Gram Sabha, or the Gram means village and Sabha means meetings. The Gram Sabha already applies to all those 18 years of age or older who are eligible for vote. It is also sort of village parliament that elects a body of about 5 persons called the Pangkayat. It is the cabinet of the village government. Furthermore, it is guided and advised by a higher body called the Pangkayat Samiti. Again, the Pangkayat Samiti is the block level that represents the intermediate level in Pangkayat Raj system. Now, the method of elections in India is that the members of Samiti are directly elected by the people, which is direct election method. Yes, direct election method ensures direct responsibility of the selected representatives to electorate and safeguard Samiti from local pulls and pressures. The system has its defects too. It snaps the organic link with the Pangkayats and creates the problem of coordination. All the elected members of the Samiti will elect the Pradhan or President. The tenure of the Pangkayat Samiti is 5 years. Now, the functions of the Pangkayat Samiti may be classified into 2 broad areas, which is provision of civic amenities, comprises the following functions, such as construction and upkeep of roads with the jurisdiction of the Samiti, but other than purely Gram Pangkayat roads, supply of drinking water, and others. Now, the fulfillment of development functions comprises the following, such as execution of all programs under community development, multiplication and distribution of improved seeds. Panch means 5 members, meaning the president or head of Gram Pangkayat is the Sarpanch. So, how is this Pangkayat Gram member elected? Diba yung village daw is divided by a Gram Pangkayat and a village is subdivided more into wards. The local people in the village shall elect the ward representatives, also referred to as ward members or panch. These ward members is also a Pangkayat member and will elect Sarpanch among themselves. That becomes the president or head of Gram Pangkayat, and they are all elected for 5 years. Now, these are the several names of the president of the Pangkayat. The Gram Pangkayat has also secretary who's also the secretary of Gram Sabha, basically a village level meeting. This secretary is not an elected person. He or she is supported by the state government. The Gram Secretary is responsible for calling the meeting of Gram Sabha and Gram Pangkayat and also keep record of the proceedings.
Let's proceed to the local government in Australia. Australia is a constitutional monarchy with a federal division of power comprising 6 states and 2 territories. Local government is under the jurisdiction of each state and territory government. There is no constitutional provision for local government. The Department of Infrastructure, Regional Development and Cities is responsible for local government policies and programs for the Australian government. There are 546 local government areas in Australia, all of which are single-tiered. In 2015 to 2016, local government expenditure was 5.7% of total government expenditure. And in 2017, 32.2% of councillors were women. Local authorities raised over 90% of their own funds. However, this proportion varies considerably between larger urban and smaller rural authorities. Although there are variations between the states and territories, councils typically have statutory responsibility for local infrastructure, health, water, and sewerage amenities, community services including childcare, aged care, recreation, cultural and educational establishments, and commercial establishments including parking, aerodromes, cemeteries, and quarries. The head of state is Queen Elizabeth II, represented by a Governor-General who is appointed for a 5-year term on the advice of the Prime Minister. The Governor-General appoints the Cabinet also on the advice of the Prime Minister, and all members of Cabinet must be members of Parliament. Members of Parliament are distributed between the 6 states of the national government called the Commonwealth Government. The New South Wales, composed of 48 members, Victoria, 37 members, Queensland, 30 members, South Australia, 11 members, Western Australia, 15 members, Tasmania, 5 members, and 2 territories, the Act and the Northern Territory, composed of 2 members each. Again, there is no federal jurisdiction over local government. Each state or territory has its own local government legislation. Typically, such legislation covers the role and powers of councils, conduct of local election, qualifications of councillors, codes of conduct for councillors and mayors, procedures for council meetings. Between 1989 and 1999, all local government acts were reviewed, with Queensland and the Northern Territories Act being reviewed again in 2009 and 2011 respectively. These reviews generally resulted in less prescription of council's roles and functions, but greater public accountability and tighter requirements for corporate planning and reporting. Voting system. The system of election for local councils varies from one state or territory to another. Some states have adopted voluntary voting, while others have compulsory or universal postal voting for council elections in order to increase voter turnout. Mayors may be elected directly by constituents or indirectly by fellow councillors, and terms for both can be varied from 1 to 4 years. Methods for electing councillors include preferential or single transferable voting, proportional representation, and the first past the post system. Enrollment and voting for local government elections include eligible Australian citizens 18 years and over who have lived at their present address for at least 1 month as a basis, with some local governments including variation for resident and non-resident. E-government. All levels of government in Australia, including local government, make extensive use of information and communications technology to deliver services and consult communities. Most councils maintain websites through which constituents can pay rates, fees, and fines, access council publications, lodge complaints, and make submission on planning and policy issues. For example, the South Australian city of Marion has an online mapping system with information about services. In Victoria, all councils have their own websites but also participate in Victorian portal called EasyBiz, which contains online forms for various local government services such as licenses, permits, and registrations. In the Northern Territory, councils have provided a range of online mechanisms to enable constituents to make payments and to facilitate other web-based interactions. The local government associations, each state and the Northern Territory has a local government associations. Membership of each association is voluntary, but almost all councils in Australia have chosen to be members of their state or territory or territory association. The association are funded by subscriptions from members, grants from state and territory governments, and fees for services, projects, research, and publications. The local government associations for New South Wales and Victoria are incorporated bodies that are recognized by specific state legislation. In the other state and the Northern Territory, they are recognized and incorporated under the primary piece of state or territory legislation. At the state and territory level, discussions occur between local government ministers, senior local government officials, and local government associations on matters of mutual concern. Some states make use of advisory boards. For example, Western Australia has a local government advisory board as statutory body that provides advice to the Minister for Local Government. South Australia has Ministers State Local Government Forum, which provides advice to the state government, and the Local Government Associations Tasmania has a local government council chaired by the state and premier. All states engage with the regional organizations of councils, which are voluntary groupings that involves collaborative partnerships between neighboring councils in a particular region or